Alright, you guys, with the PXG versus Bastard match right around the corner, plus with the manga being on a break this week, it felt like the perfect time to finally drop my PXG prediction video. This is a collection of predictions that I have for the PXG match of what I think will happen. So while the match is going on and after it's over, it'll be fun to come back to a video like this and see how many of my predictions came true or if I was close with any of them. Anyways, I'm sure I'm going to be talking a lot about the PXG match, from theories to chapter reviews, so if you enjoy this video and want to see more future videos like that, then consider liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, since anything and everything helps. Now, these will be a mix of mini theories, speculation, and more of what I feel like could most likely happen during the match, whether it's from the narrative story being told or other evidence within the Blue Lock story. And there'll be some predictions that I think aren't likely to happen, but I'll still share them since I think it'll be cool and interesting. And then I'll finish off the video by giving my overall thoughts of what I think the match could be. So let's get right into the first prediction that I likely think will happen, which is Rin and Karasu will be revealed to be the last Blue Lock players in the NEL to have Metavision. Now, people already think Metavision is getting too overused, since during the Ubers match, Nico, Aiku, and Hiyori were all revealed to have Metavision during the match. But so far, everyone that has been revealed to have Metavision has made sense. And when we first learned about this ability, Rin was the first character that I thought would make the most sense to have this ability, since he has likely been using this ability since all the way back in the second selection, since his Puppet Master playstyle is very similar to Metavision, where he predicts how everyone in the field will move next and is able to make the players move how he would like them to. So narrative-wise, it would make less sense if Rin didn't have Metavision, and as the narrative has also gone, Rin is probably going to be a stronger Metavision user than Isagi initially in the match, and he will have to figure out how to beat Rin in that regard, since we know there are levels to it, since Isagi claimed that Nico, for example, was a weaker Metavision user than him during the Ubers match. And the reason why I believe that it's likely that Karasu will also be revealed to have Metavision during the match is because he is a character that also analyzes players and likes to control them, as we saw during the third selection with his character. So he might not be guaranteed to have it like Rin, but I feel like it wouldn't make sense for his character to not also have it. I know people think Metavision should be a bit more special and that everyone is getting it, but these characters I feel like would need to have this ability. Also, it could be revealed that Charles could also be a possible character to be revealed to have it as well. Now, my next likely prediction is that a new eye ability will be revealed during the match. For Manshine, it was Metavision. For the Ubers match, it was the Predator Eye, and the trend will continue with another eye ability being revealed, with Rin most likely also being the one to be revealed to have this ability. I know it seems that I'm already giving Rin a lot of abilities going into the match, but with his hat trick performance against Manshine, Rin is playing at a whole new level, so it makes sense if he had multiple abilities going into this match. Since yes, the reveal of Charles definitely shows a lot more of why Rin likely got that hat trick, but Rin is still an amazing player, so I could see him having a lot of abilities. Also, if Rin doesn't get a new eye ability, then I think potentially Zantetsu could get an eye ability, which I know, why would a background character get an eye ability? But in the video where I discuss how Loki could be as a coach, I mentioned that Zantetsu would be a good example of Loki demonstrating his coaching abilities by helping Zantetsu get a new ability that goes well with his speed, considering that speed is Loki's main world-class weapon, and many have speculated that Loki has a unique eye ability. Now, since I just mentioned him, my next prediction is that Zantetsu will be a bigger problem for Bastard than they are expecting, and Isagi will have to directly come up with a solution to shut him down. Now, I briefly talked about this in another video, but basically the idea is that I think Zantetsu will play a bigger role than people are expecting in the PXG match. Because the first selection was so long ago in the manga, people forget that Zantetsu was actually a pretty good player, being a part of the trio that included Nagi and Ryo. After the first selection, I don't think Zantetsu was made less relevant to the plot because the author forgot about him, but more so because the author couldn't find a good place to fit him in the story. But putting him on the PXG team with Loki as the coach definitely makes me think that the author has interesting plans for Zantetsu in the upcoming match, since it definitely would be a waste if at no point Loki shows Zantetsu how he could use his speed in creative ways to become an even better player. Plus, I actually mentioned in my other video that the U20 speedster defender on the Bastard team named Naru will be subbed in to be the matchup against Zantetsu, since especially if PXG is going to utilize their substitutes pretty well, having multiple formations, then Noel will probably realize that he needs to use more of his players as well. And that move could be even suggested by Isagi, with him suggesting that Naru should be subbed in to deal with Zantetsu. Since we saw for a brief moment that Zantetsu wasn't happy with his value, and considering how quickly the bachira match is currently going, I don't imagine he'll get much of a chance to show off his skills enough to get a major boost from that match. So with Bastard being the last match, that could be enough motivation for Zantetsu to want to become more of a threat for the final match. Plus, I'm sure Loki is well aware that Bastard is going to be their hardest opponent, so he could be telling players such as Zantetsu and Karasu to hold back on new things they have learned until the Bastard match and let players like Rin and Shidou show off so that all eyes will be on them, and then the other PXG players can reveal that those two aren't the only powerhouses on the team. I mean, that could be coping on my part, but right now, players such as Zantetsu and Karasu are a bit too low in values, so I'm going to need them to really pop off during the PXG match. But we have been talking about quite a few PXG players, so let's discuss a Bastard player next, which is Kiyora Jin. Since a big topic in the community for a while now is questioning who Kiyora is going to help within the PXG versus Bastard match. Since we know very little about Kiyora, besides that his skill level is similar to Corona, so he's likely going to play a role where he's going to support someone. I actually made a theory video a few months back where I discussed how Kiyora would play a major role in the PXG match. And this was a chapter before he was officially confirmed to be playing in the next match by Noel. But basically, in that theory, I talked about how I thought Hiyori's word choice of him saying that him playing on the field would be like there are two Isakis on the field. So maybe Corona would support Isagi, since it does seem that Corona is going to play in the next match, and Kiyora could potentially support Hiyori. Now, I made this theory way before all the Hiyori stuff happened in the Ubers match, but considering that Hiyori still has the desire within him to want to score, and he has made it clear that he's not just going to blindly support Isagi, and he's going to play how he wants to play, it is still valid to say that Kiyora could help out Hiyori. But I would like to slightly change my theory and say that my new prediction for Kiyora is that he's going to play a neutral role within the match and support whoever is the smartest choice in that moment. Meaning, throughout the match, we will see him support all the characters, including Kaiser, Kunigami, Hiyori, and even Isagi. This would actually be the smartest move for Kiyora to do, since a lot of other theories about Kiyora say that he's either going to support Kaiser or Kunigami, but with this being his first and last game in the NEL, it would be a smart move for Kiyora to realize that trying to just be loyal to one character would hinder what he could do, and the smartest move for him would be to just ignore all the king stuff, all the rival stuff going on within the team and just support whoever would be the best player to support in that moment, like any other game. Since due to Kyora's chill personality from what we have seen, this could mean that he's actually a pretty logical player. Not saying that being a chill person automatically makes you logical, but maybe the reason why Kyoto was so calm about Izaki putting Hiyori on the pitch over him is because he knew in that moment that Hiyori was the better choice. Having practiced with both him and Izaki, he knows firsthand how good of a player Hiyori is and decided to just let it go because it was the best choice in that moment for the team to win. But in return, when he goes onto the pitch in the PXG match, he's not going to care about loyalty to anyone, which will truly make him an exciting wildcard character. As I've stated in a previous video, clearly Noel sees something in Kyoto, otherwise he wouldn't have had him play in the next match. So I definitely predict we will see some exciting stuff from Kyoto. Now my next prediction is about another bastard player, which is the monk. And this is definitely my more out there speculation prediction, but the more I've sat with this one, the more I see the vision with it. But I know some people will think it's wild, so let me explain. Basically, my prediction is that Monk is not going to make the top 23, but he's still going to be a part of the Blue Lock story. Now, out of all the players that haven't played yet, Igaguri definitely has the biggest potential to make it into the top 23, and is already being set up to have a big moment in the PXG match, which will likely be that he's going to foul a strong player to give a chance for the bastard team when PXG becomes too much for them. Similar to the Kuon moment during the first selection. But as funny and as wild as that moment will be if it does happen, it's clearly not going to be enough for him to make it into the top 23 just doing that, and he would actually have to play a decent game to make it onto the team. But I predict that the monk's luck is going to run out and everyone will think that he's no longer going to be a part of the story. But then in the next arc, he's going to return, now working or even volunteering for the Blue Lock management team as an assistant or something. Now this might sound crazy, but Igaguri could literally play the exact same role of being the comedy relief character on the sidelines of each game, and he doesn't even have to be on the actual team. Since, of course, if the author wants to give Igaguri real character development and make him into an actual player, then fair enough, he can be on the team. But if his role is always just going to be the comedy of the manga, then I'd rather another player makes it onto the team and Igaguri could still be a part of the story, but just not as an official player. And he could stick around since he wants to fool his family that he's still on the team so he doesn't have to work for his family temple. I know this is wild and not likely to happen, but it was a thought that I had, so I thought I would share it with you guys anyways. Now this next little section, I wanted to discuss specifically about goals and my predictions regarding the goals in the PXG versus Bastard match. One of my most viewed videos on this channel is about a major rule change for PXG, where I discuss how the best thing that PXG could do would be to abandon the 3-goal rule and either raise the goal limit, with 5 goals being a good number that many people commented about, or having no limits at all, since that would solve a lot of issues going into the match. Since, for example, if the 3-goal rule remains, that means if Bastard wins, then likely these goals are going to be done by Kunigami, Kaiser, and Izagi, since they are the 3 main characters that have storylines going into the match. Or possibly 1 goal for Kunigami and 2 for Izagi, since I might have a potential video for what's going to happen to Kaiser during this match, but you guys might see that for another video. Either way, this wouldn't feel satisfying for any of their storylines. Same for PXG, since that would mean 1 goal for Ren and 1 for Shidou, or 2 for Rin, leaving Shidou with only 1 if PXG wins. So truly, a major rule change would feel like the most logical move to make. So if we do a 5-goal limit, for example, then I would say 2 goals for kunigami, 2 goals for isagi, and 1 for either Kaiser or Hiyori, since Hiyori's scoring could be his redemption for his missed goal in the Ubers match, since Hiyori is definitely being set up as a itoshi type player, where he is a midfielder, but he still scores if he sees the opportunity. Now we are at my final main prediction, which involves Nanase. Nanase is a character that either people like or are indifferent towards, but collectively the attitude towards him is that he is not a character that's on anyone's radar and he won't make it into the top 23. Now, I would like it for Nanase to make it into top 23 since I do like him as a character, but with only 23 spots, I don't know if Nanase will be at the skill level by the end of the PXG match to make it. Plus, with all the relevant characters that Blue Lock has, it leaves even less room for Nanase on the team. So my prediction for Nanase's fate is that he's going to try really hard in the PXG match, but he won't get good enough in time and he won't make it into the top 23, and it'll be a really sad moment. I imagine it's going to be similar to Naruhaya in the second selection, where we will learn more about Nanase, get his backstory, and he'll try his best, but he won't make it, since he will have the realization that he is an average Joe in a world of geniuses. Since Nanase reminds me a lot of Isagi in the first and second selection, and Isagi could potentially see his old self in Nanase, but he won't be able to adapt fast enough in time. Even maybe getting the 24th spot, showing just how close he was. And it'll be another heartbreaking moment in Blue Lock, since they don't happen often, but they do hit hard. I don't want this prediction to come true, but it does seem like the author is going to make Nanase relevant in the PXG match. And unless some characters get dropped in value, I don't know if Nanase can make it onto the team, so this might be his role in the upcoming match. So this is the list of all my predictions going into the PXG versus Bastard match. And I added 2 at the end, which I didn't want to have a full-on section about, but those 2 are Karasu will help Hiyori get his full passion and love back for football, since we know that Hiyori got his ego unlocked again by playing with Isagi, but his emotions about football are still in a weird place, so I think Karasu will be the final piece to help him get his passion back. And my next addition is that we are going to see what happened to Kunigami during Wildcard finally. This has been in a 100 plus chapter mystery, and we have waited long enough, so the PXG match is finally the perfect place to reveal what happened. Anyways, those are my predictions. I know it's not a crazy long list, and I'm sure I'm going to have more predictions, since, for example, I didn't talk too much about Charles, and I'm sure he's going to play a major role in the PXG match, and I think I'll talk more about him in future videos. But since we only got a few panels of him, I'm going to need to see more of his character to fully figure out my thoughts about him. Since a big question right now about him is whether or not he's a new Gen 11 player. I actually asked you guys in a community post about this, and the majority of you guys said that yes, he's a new Gen 11. Now, if he is, then most likely this is setting him up to go up against Kaiser, but if he isn't, then his matchup is most likely Ness. So first, I would have to get confirmation about his exact status, since that will definitely change what I think his role is going to be in the match. But for now, I'm going to say that he is a new Gen 11, since that was my instinct, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't. So I'm just gonna have to wait and see. Overall, I'm very excited for the PXG match. It definitely has the most potential to be the best match we have had in the manga since the U20 Japan match, and even the best match in the entire manga. The big thing that I hope for with this match is that the author is going to throw surprises at us and and leave us guessing until the end who is going to win. While I enjoyed the Ubers match, I feel like that was the major element that was missing from the match, and that's not usually how Blue Lock is. So of course I would love for my predictions to come true, except for the Nanase one. I kind of hate myself for coming up with that one, but I also want to see a lot of things happen that we don't see coming. Anyways, this is the end of my video. I'm really happy to finally got this video up since I've been talking about it for so long now. So it definitely feels good to just have it out. So let me know what your guys' predictions are and what you thought about my predictions. Again, I think this will be a very fun video to come back to in a very long time when the PXG match officially finishes. But even during the match, it'll be cool to see which ones I got right or which ones I was close to. And when I do my review for this match like 2 years from now, I'm definitely going to come back to this list and see how many I got right. Anyways, please like, comment, and subscribe if you made it this far in the video, and push that post notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!